And welcome along, everyone, back to PPRL. Tonight we are here for our post-race broadcast and also our midweek podcast. Usually we do the post-race broadcast a day after the race, but due to some complications, we're not able to do that. So we are going to have a quick talk with some of our drivers here. We're joined by Fan, Wade, Hawk, and Joe. Thank you guys so much for being here. Take some time out of your week to join us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Of course.
So let's start off with Wade, our championship leader, as we go into the playoffs. I know it wasn't the best Daytona. You were up there for quite a while. How do you think the overall race went for you?
It went really well. The racing that was at Daytona was really surprising. I thought it'd be 2-car tandems and stuff, which it was earlier. But really kind of played out into a pack racing kind of race, which I really like. I feel like that suits us, my team, a lot better than the 2-car tandems. But it went really well for us. Obviously not the finish we wanted, but it's Daytona. You're not always going to get the finish you want.
Absolutely. Yeah. Moving on, we're joining into the chase. I know it was a much quieter night for you. Some tensions were boiling over. How did you balance those and, get a decent finishing position at the end of the day?
Honestly, I don't know. I feel like I could have done better.
Yeah. Do you think that, starting further back than you normally would at 11th place, do you think that the random order had a lot to impact that finishing position you had at the end of the race?
Yes, it did, actually. Took me almost half the race to get in the top 5, at least.
Absolutely. Well, once again, I know it wasn't the way you wanted to finish off the regular season, but congratulations on that, making the chase as well. And moving on to Fan, our sixth and final playoff driver. I know, once again, you also started to the further back end of the field, 12th place. How did you, work your way up to at one point we were almost in the lead there, but I know you kind of fell off at one. How did you work your way up through all that traffic?
You just kind of have to make the smart moves when you need to. There's a lot more technique that people think when you have to go into Daytona. You can't just go into Daytona, just follow someone and then you can get to the front. Obviously not. And even experienced drivers like Hawk, he just said like he felt that the random order messed him up a little bit. He couldn't find his rhythm and he took him half the race to get up in a top 5 position. Me, I just stuck with who I trusted. Mainly stuck with who I trusted and then just try to make the smart moves. Like, you obviously don't want to go on the outside when you're by yourself, and you only want to get into that 2-car tandem situation when you know there's going to be a breakaway. So just timing it right and doing everything you can, that's what can get you up to the front.
Absolutely. And then moving on to Joe. I believe, Joe, you weren't able to race at Daytona, but I don't know if you watched the stream or not, guys, but I definitely felt like that Saturday night's race was very single line oriented. As we know, a lot of people who got stuck on the outside line just could not pass. Do you think that, the outside line is extremely detrimental, or do you think there's a way to get work past that?
I wouldn't say it's detrimental. It's more of one of those things where if you can get the outside to work, it most likely is going to be with a 2-car tandem, and maybe a couple other drivers behind you, at least 1 or 2. You got to get some steam built up on the outside, and whether it's the Cougars or Cup cars. That's the only way you're going to be able to get it to work. I mean, it takes a couple of laps for it to really, start working. But
eventually, you're able to get some of that clean air and get up there and get around the guys on the bottom.
Absolutely. And then we knew that, the random order would bring a lot of chaos, so to say, to the race. Do you think it made the race more interesting, or was it more frustrating for some of the drivers?
Probably.
This is a question for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, probably a little more frustrating, I would imagine. But I liked the twist to the race. We saw some faces up there that we normally wouldn't, such as Back in Black. But yeah, I mean, but then there's guys like Hawk, who's in here, who's usually very good in qualifying at Daytona. Had to start near the back.
I think, if I can throw in my word on this,
Well,
I think it brought in a mix of both. Some people, like Hawk, obviously they have mixed frustrations and being able to start where they were. Other drivers, they took the opportunity and they made good advantages of it. Because, like Reno was saying, Back in Black, we don't see him every race because he's not able to every race, and then he shows up here, random order. Nobody really had a lot of practice either because there was no designated practice lobby. And it allowed guys like him to be out in front. I mean, Azawar, he started all the way 20th because of his penalty that he was still serving from the DMS versus PPRL event, and he recovered to that to win the race. So some people took the opportunity for it, others it was frustrating. Me personally, I wasn't too big on it. I wasn't too frustrated, but I just ran my race pretty much.
Absolutely.
I liked it. It was pretty cool to see. A lot of different names at the start of a race. I thought it played out pretty well. At Daytona, I feel like starting position doesn't matter because you see what happened. The guy who started last won the race. So I think starting position didn't really matter. But that was pretty cool to see that. Hopefully we can see that more in the future, maybe.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you guys because we saw 12 different leaders. I think that's one of our highest leader counts overall. We had 12 different leaders. We had 22 changes for the lead. So there's quite a few positions being shuffled back and forth. But we definitely saw, once again, Dawson prove himself that he's probably one of the championship favorites. As he led 47 of the 135 laps, so that's quite a chunk of the laps he led. Do you think, after struggling Sonoma, he was able to finish due to engine issue. Here he just got caught up in some late wrecks. Do you think it weighs in on him as he goes into playoffs that he's struggled to get the results he's wanted? Do you think that weighs in as he goes into the playoffs, or no?
Nah, I think he knows he's fast.
No.
I feel like he knows he's quick enough to win races. I don't think a couple bad finishes, especially with his points advantage he had, wouldn't really weigh on him.
Yeah, when you look at Dawson's season that he had, he had a little bit of an issue at the beginning of this season that, maybe he wasn't getting his rhythm off right away. But he was able to find his rhythm the minute he got his first win. Obviously, he got 2 wins. 2 wins is still 2 wins. That ties for most this season, even though we had, I believe, 4 winners, like 4 different winners that each won 2 races. There at the end, yes, momentum kind of died down a bit, but with the confidence that he's had, he's up there. And drivers that have a lot of confidence in themselves, he's shown it. Whenever it comes down to it, he's shown that he can be a good person to work with at Daytona in general, like for drafting, because drafting, obviously, that's the one thing that you're doing all the time at Daytona. And
Right.
He's shown that he's good in that. He's shown that he knows when to time and make the opportunity at Indy. The only track that I would say not his strongest, but it's certainly, I'm not saying he's weak at this track, but Homestead, he hasn't shown the greatest results compared to what he can do at the other two ovals, but still strong driver. So definitely a championship favorite.
Absolutely. So moving on to the conversation about championship. So we have officially locked in 6 drivers. Our 6 drivers starting off with King Wade in first place, 2 points over the cut line, followed by Dawson, tied with King Wade. Third place is Active, also tied with those two. And then we have JDMX Hawk, as we said, 1 point above cut line. And we have Azawar also tied with JDMX Hawk. And then we have Fan in 6th place. So at this point of the show, we're going to move on towards our War Room, looking at the Championship 6 right now, going into the last 3 races of the season, and discussing some different scenarios and all that. So we'll start out with Fan. Obviously, Fan's here tonight, joining us tonight. So Fan, how do you think the next 3 races will go for you if you can make it? So what are your strengths, your weaknesses? What are you excited for? What do you, who do you look forward to racing against? And do you think you have a chance to make a run at that championship this season?
Well, having the first race at Indianapolis, definitely I would count that as a strength towards me. I've been solid at Indianapolis. I finished second there a couple of times. Obviously, I don't have a cup win yet. But Indianapolis has definitely been one of my stronger tracks. I've at least led a couple laps every time I've been there, even since my first few starts in the league. I've always found rhythm in Indianapolis. So definitely a strong track for me. I'm not going to go in there thinking that, okay, I have to worry about 5 other people. No, I'm going to go there going one goal, just try to do the best that I can, pretty much. Do the best that I can. Hopefully that's winning. Getting the pit strategy down, getting everything down to where it could make the difference. I'm not going to approach it, going to try not to think about it too much. Just going to run a race. Whatever happens, happens. But I definitely like having it at Indy. Round 1. Round 2 at Daytona, that's just luck. To be honest. It's just luck, especially when you're at Daytona. If I do make it past, it's going to be still 5 guys fighting for, like, only one of them isn't going to have a chance at a championship. So definitely going to be, I don't think a wreck fest. I think people are going to make smarter decisions, but for sure at the end, that is what's going to make it go haywire.
Absolutely. As you said, Fan, like, the points are so close, especially in this format where King Wade's only 2 points ahead of you, but he's the championship leader. Do you think this levels the playing field more, so to say?
It definitely does. It makes it to where I remember at the beginning of this season, it was the 3 people who came together to try to discuss the point system for this season, or the chase format. And it was me, CR7, and Adam. We came together trying to discuss what are we going to do with the chase format. Originally, it was kind of different from the format that we had in the past, because the chase is only something that was recently introduced in this league.
Right.
Like, obviously, it's been in NASCAR for the past decade, but here it's only been around for, I think this is only the third season. Yep. Third season that we've had the chase. So it's creating a balance, kind of like what NASCAR is trying to do in real life. They're trying to create a balance that you have the most talented driver win, but you make it to where it's intense all the way to the end of the season. And here, definitely, yeah, you did get bonus points for winning. Is it much? No. Maybe that can be something that can be improved upon. But still, it makes it to where it's not that much of a distance that you can make up. And it doesn't make it to where round 1 someone is locked in. It makes it to where they still equally have to fight for their spot.
Absolutely. So moving on, everyone, to Azwar. He's not here tonight. He's not able to join us tonight. What do you guys think of his chances at Indy? Indy's not one of his best tracks. We all know Daytona is very aggressive, very strong there, but going to Indy, he's not as strong. What do you think are his chances to moving on to the next round?
So, Azuar is a complete wild card. I think we can all agree on that. Honestly, I kind of, it's been a pleasant surprise to see him in the chase.
Mm-hmm.
But
I can agree on that.
Yep.
He's definitely shown some real speed this season. I mean, the speed that I personally did not expect from him. I've been on the same team as him at one point, and he and I were relatively close to each other on the track. But and then I think he took a season off, if I'm not mistaken, and then he came back this season and just started lighting it up with great finishes, and then he broke through for a win at Daytona. So I could see him potentially getting into that final group of drivers there at Homestead.
Absolutely. Moving on, we have Hawk. Hawk, of course, is joining us tonight. Hawk, what do you think, as I said to Fan, what are some of your, strengths, weaknesses? What do you look forward to overall in this chase? And what does this opportunity give you as a driver overall? We'll come back to you, Hawk. There.
We can still talk about him.
No,
we can still talk about him though.
Oh yeah,
Wait for him to get
yeah.
back.
You guys can go ahead and talk about him.
Yeah. So with Hawk, him being the fourth, correct?
I know he's yes, you're right, fourth place. Yes.
Okay. With him being fourth place, he's gained some momentum here at the end before the chase. To be honest, it looked like he was having more of a slacking, mediocre season to where maybe it looked like he was going to be a driver more on the bubble.
Right.
But he showed up like the Hawk that we've known, the Hawk that I know. He definitely, when I first competed full-time in this league, he was probably just as dominant as Exiv was last season, to give you reference for that. So he was definitely a very top driver. I don't know if he just took a season off or whatever, but he found his rhythm. He won. He's gaining momentum here at the end, and that can make differences because we've seen this many, many times before in the real NASCAR Cup Series. We've seen it many times before. Tony Stewart's championship run. Oh yeah, he was having a mediocre season, and then all of a sudden, the final 10 races, he pops off in the chase and then ends up winning the championship over Carl Edwards. So it's something big. We saw it with Joey Logano when he won the championship. Everyone thought it was either going to be the big three. It was going to be Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex, and the third, I believe, was it Kyle Busch?
Kyle Busch. Yes,
so,
it was.
So everyone thought it was going to be one of these three, guaranteed, and there's no one else. Doesn't matter who the fourth driver is. And he showed up. And he made it work. So we've definitely seen it in the past to where they might be having just enough of a season to get them in, but then they know when it counts. And Hawk, he might be one of those to where he knows when it's going to count.
So do you, this is a question for everyone, once again, do you guys think he's a sleeper going to this chase? Like maybe someone, a lot of people haven't looked at this season, but he has a legitimate chance. Do you think he's one of those drivers going to this chase?
I would have to say he's probably a sleeper. Of course, no disrespect to him. The consistency has been there. It's just, with the normally he's lighting it up in the W column, and he's only got one on the season right now. Of course, the points are very close right now. If we look at the grid, but he's got that the veteran instincts to him, if you will, and I could see him potentially being a sleeper.
Okay, guys, so we've always talked about the bottom three. Let's move up to third place, Exiv, not able to join us once again tonight. So what do you guys think of his chances going forward? We all know that he can win it at all three tracks. He's won at all three tracks especially last season when he won 5 in a row. So what do you guys think of his chances this season?
I think Indy should be fine. He usually finds. He's usually when it comes time championship time, he seems to be on it. And I think he's gonna be fine at Indy. If he just runs his own race, does everything that he usually does, he should be fine at Indy. He's got the speed. Daytona, it's a wild card. I think if him and Dawson pair up and do what they did earlier on the season at Daytona, where they're pretty good at pairing up in 2-car tandeming, they should be fine.
Right.
But it's Daytona, that's a wild card. And then
Yeah,
Homestead. He's really good at Homestead. He's got wins this season. Really hard to pass. Once he gets to lead, it's hard. He knows how to work the air and how to keep you behind him.
And working off what Wade was just saying there for Daytona, you have to look at another thing too. DBM, they have 2 drivers in, and also ABR, they have 2 drivers in as well. So that is going to be something huge, having a teammate. It's always great to have a teammate work with you, but when you both have a championship on the line, that makes it a little different now, does it? So it definitely will create a better, what am I trying to say? Better mindset, maybe, for those guys entering in there. But Active, definitely, we know he's strong on all 3 tracks in the chase. Won multiple times at all 3 tracks. And you definitely wouldn't expect him to maybe slack off a bit in the chase. You definitely would not. So he could be one of those people in this chase that you might see that as a guarantee in the championship for.
When I think of ASIV in these 3 races coming up, Indy, Daytona, Homestead, Indy, he's very consistent. Daytona, if I were him, I'd be a tad concerned. Obviously, he does have a win there. But you know, in our old format, when we would only allow 16 into the race lobbies, there were a couple of times during the season where he didn't quite make the Daytona races. So that race, obviously, like Fan was saying earlier, it is luck, but you do need to have some sort of skill involved with Daytona. You know, you need to be able to tandem occasionally if that's what you need to do.
Right.
You need to break away from the pack, that sort of thing. Homestead, when I was racing full time in the Cup cars, I used to joke in practice. I would say, guys, we might as well give up right now. We're at Homestead. This is AXIV's playground. So, you know, if he hangs around there towards the end and he makes it to Homestead, I'd say AXIV is probably one of my favorites going into that race.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I totally agree with you. You know, I'm sure when I first joined the league, Fan told me, when Fan taught me how to run the lines, he said that's the exit line. So absolutely, I agree with you, especially for his analysis at Homestead. But moving on to the second DBM driver, Dawson, currently in second place, tied with his team owner going into the chase. What do you guys think of his odds? You know, as we said earlier in the show, he has a lot of momentum, has a lot of confidence, has been putting some really good performances. Hasn't had the results, but what do you guys think of his chances going in? Is he almost a confirmed seat into the championship four?
You
can
cut out
say.
a little bit. Who did you mention?
No, he's mentioning Dawson. And for sure, he's up there in almost. We kind of don't want to say confirmed seat because no one's confirmed. But
That's true.
if the race runs the way it goes, Dawson, he's definitely in not a hot seat position, but he's definitely in a position that we can see him perform at his best. And we don't know if we've seen Dawson perform at his best because immediately Dawson made an impression when he entered the league. When he entered the league, we knew he had pace, we knew he had patience, and we knew that he had good driver skill. And immediately going in, he's done well on his own. but with Exif with him, it just enhances how good he can be. And Dawson, I would say definitely another high favorite. But you never know with the points being so close. And with it, if you win, you're into Homestead. If you win either round 1 or 2, you're a championship 4 driver. So
Right.
definitely something to look for.
Okay, and then finally we're going to move on towards Wade, our championship leader right now, currently first in the points, has been first for a decent amount of the season.
All
we
season,
know
I
Wade's
think.
here. I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole season.
He is. Yeah, the whole season. Congratulations, Wade. He's joined us obviously tonight. So Wade, what do you think? What are you looking forward towards? What are you looking forward towards overall? Unlike, last season you were also in the chase, got knocked out early. So what are you looking forward to this season and changing that?
I'm not gonna lie, your mic cut out for me. But I heard your last part, so I know what the question is. But
Okay.
we ran pretty well at Indy, I'd say, this season. We've had speed to win races there, just haven't won them. We've gotten good finishes though. Ran basically top 5 each race we've been there. So I think this season we should be able to get by Indy if we just run our race that we're supposed to, hopefully win and get ourselves into Miami. But
Right.
main focus is getting past this first round. And then
Absolutely.
Daytona, that's more scary for me, I'd say, because yes, I won the first race there, but we've just not been consistent at Daytona. We've had
Right.
we won the first race there, and then ever since there, we've just had terrible luck at Daytona.
Absolutely, as we saw last
So-
weekend, you did struggle a little bit. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't really trust Daytona. Hopefully, we can get past that round, go to Miami at a track that's basically been my best track in PPRO. 3 wins there now, I think. We've won with
Yep, I
this new
believe so.
package, and we've really been fast there. We had a little bit of luck change second half of the season there, but I mean, I feel confident in our speed to go win the championship if we just get to Homestead.
Absolutely. Well, at this point, guys, we are going to go into our final decision-making process. So let's talk about all 6 drivers. Who do you think is going to make it past each round and into the final 4? And who do you think is going to be your championship? Who's going to be a champion? So we'll start off with Fan. Who do you think is going to make it past the first 2 rounds?
Right now, I would say the highest probability I can go with right now. Drivers who are making the final 4. I'm saying Exif, he's getting in there. I'm saying Dawson, he's getting in there. I'm saying Wade, he's getting in there. And honestly, I'm going with Hawk. It hasn't had the best momentum, but to be honest with him, needing the momentum, he's probably going to get it at the right time here in the chase. And if he can keep it consistent, yeah, he can probably make it. That's my highest probability right now. But if I were to go with, sorry, I like to make 2 outcomes. If I were to go with maybe not the highest probability outcome, but it's something that's very, very much possible, I'm going Dawson's making it, Wade's making it, I'm making it, and then I'm also going to say Azawar. So
Okay.
I'm giving that one as a lower probability, but it's something that is definitely possible because of just the way it's laid out. Because you never know, maybe we're saying Exif, Dawson, Wade, they're the favorites, but let's say Hawk, me, or Azawar win Daytona or Indy, that's 2 spots locked in, and there's only 2 more
Exactly.
left. So
Yeah.
that's something that can definitely change it up.
Okay. So before we move on to Joe, can we all agree? Can we lock in Wade and Dawson into the final 4?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So Wade and Dawson are going to be locked into the final four. Okay, so at this point we have 2 more spots for 4 drivers. Our 4 drivers are Exiv, Hawk, Azwar, and Fan. Joe, who's your pick of those 4 drivers to make it?
All right, so obviously we got Wade and Dawson out of the way. You can't go wrong with Exiv. I mean, consistency is going to have to be key for him. If not winning one of those races, as far as Indy and Daytona goes, because Homestead's going to be, I'd say that race is going to be pretty dangerous for the rest of the field if he makes it there.
Right.
As far as the remaining 3, man, it's a tough choice, honestly, because we've got Finn, who's been extremely consistent. Hawk, we talked a little bit about him, how consistency has been his thing as well as pulling a win out. Azwar getting his first win last week and really solidifying himself as a potential contender. But I'm going to have to say Wade, Dawson, Exiv, and Azwar.
Interesting. Sure. At this point, I'm going to say my own playoffs. So I think definitely, as I said earlier, Wade, Dawson, I think just the way they've been running the whole season, very consistent, have obviously shown themselves to be the championship favorite entering into the chase. I think I'll surprise a lot of people with this, but I legitimately think that Fan can make it. And this is why I'm saying that, is that he's shown consistency this whole season. He's, as Fan said himself earlier, he did finish a runner-up at Indy. He has the opportunity to legitimately show himself as a contender going into this first round. I think Daytona, as we said, it's going to be kind of a toss-up to see who wins that. We might see someone like Random Shot who might be able to win at Daytona. He's shown that he has speed there. I think Fan has shown that he has the consistency to make the chase. He's shown that throughout the season. I think he's going to continue the momentum, and I think this is his opportunity to win. He should really prove himself. I think he has the fire and motivation to win. He just hasn't got that win yet. I think Fan will surprise a lot of people. He will be the 3rd driver to make it, and for the final driver, I'm going to have to go with Exiv just because last season he was so strong, came so close to winning that championship, just wasn't able to push through. Like we saw Exiv start off the season with 5 straight wins. So I think my playoff lineup will be Dawson, Wade, Exiv, and Fan. I just believe that Azwar is just he's not there yet. I like him as a driver. He has a lot of motivation and has a lot of aggressiveness, but I feel like it's literally 50-50 with him. Like some weeks, as we saw at Daytona, he'll make his way up through the field and he'll be able to win, but other times it's really hit or miss with him. So I feel like he will fall out just because of his own aggressiveness. And then I think, as some of the other people said, I think Hawk has had an off season. I don't think he has the momentum that he would have had last season or even the season before that. So I really believe that this year will end in disappointment for him, but I think he'll come back next season even stronger of a driver. So my final 4 will be Wade, Dawson, Exiv, and Fan.
All right.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Words can hurt.
All right, but can I give you 2?
Yeah, go ahead, Wade.
Okay.
It's your time right now.
My first one is one I would say high probability, but I'm not gonna say 100% just because of it.
Right.
I'll have Dawson, Exiv, me, and Hawk. I'd say.
Okay.
If it went off speed, I'd say probably us 4.
Right.
And then my second one, I'd go Dawson, Exiv, Hawk, and Fan. I don't put myself in the second one because I don't trust myself at Daytona. I don't trust my luck there.
Okay, I mean, you've shown speed there, Wade, so I'm a little surprised by that. You definitely show speed. I know it hasn't been the best stretch with Daytona the past couple races, but you really think that might be the round to take you out?
If it's any round, it'd be that one, I think.
Okay. Hawk, I don't know if you can hear us now, bud, but if you want to go ahead and put your bracket up also, you're more than welcome to do so.
Yeah. My picks, I say Exif,
Mm-hmm.
Wade,
Mm-hmm.
me, and Fan.
Okay. So you're saying that Dawson will not make it.
Nope.
Is there a reason behind that? Is it just because he hasn't had the results the past couple weeks, or what's up with that?
Yeah, that too. I mean, he's experienced a lot of problems, like internet issues and all that.
Right.
And
So you're saying that for Dawson, it won't be his driving, it'll be some of his hardware issues, like the engine failure at Sonoma. It'll be something of that sort, you're saying?
yes.
Okay. Well, there you have it, guys. Thanks so much for watching the broadcast. We've had everyone has joined us tonight say their brackets. It seems like most people have agreed that Wade and Dawson will make it, other than Hawk. And then it seems like a lot of people are rooting for Exif and Hawk to also make it. A couple brackets do show Fan making it, as was unlikely chance just because of some of his errors he's made by himself. But at this point, we are going to wrap up the broadcast. I'd like to thank everyone who joined us tonight. If you are interested on joining the league, go ahead and check out our webpage, which will be linked in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, see you guys Saturday night at 11 p.m. Eastern for the first race of the chase at Indy. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys at...
Finally, I could be normal.